Hey, what is this thing here? Let's turn that frown upside down. Welcome to the superpilotish channel. My name's Graham Wilson, and today in my basement, I'm going to be talking to this happy guy and you about I don't know, I guess it's something that's not really all that happy, like depression. But it's kind of been going around the interwebs these days about, I don't know, just um things we'll say, of incidents we'll say. I'm not going to get into any details, but let's just say there's a few bummed out pilots hanging around there, and let's see what we can do. What can we do to solve some problems? Okay. So, yeah, I was looking into this, and it's just life. You have your good times, you have your bad times, right? And if your bad times just don't kind of match out right with what you're doing there, that it could turn out to be even worse. But so yeah, I was kind of thinking about where do I start on this? So okay, and there's kind of like this thing about depression, anxiety, all this mental. Life sucks, man. Oh, life is great. That's out there. It's around. It's part of life, like I said. So I figured we'd kind of just let's do a little definition of the difference between like depression, as they call it, and anxiety. Okay, so the way I'll start off with the anxiety, because I love anxiety. It's like, yeah, I love anxiety. Well, no, what anxiety is it's basically fear of the unknown. So that's an easy one. That's why, people are always afraid to go flying and stuff like that. That's anxiety. And you don't know what's going to happen. And I've always found that if you can kind of differentiate between like depression, feeling bad, and anxiety, if you start asking yourself the questions, you find yourself saying, well, this could happen. What if this happens? What if that happens? Now, if you're asking yourself a whole bunch about what if that happens, because that's the unknown, right? If you're finding yourself doing that, it's like, okay, that's anxiety. So the way that I look at anxiety, and you can kind of, let's reframe it this way, that it's not really necessarily that anxiety is a mental problem, it's an information problem. So, like, let's just say I'm anxious about, okay, something aviation. Okay, I am anxious about running out of gas. It's like, why am I anxious about running out of gas? Because I like didn't check the gas before I went flying. Okay, so if I check the gas in the plane, I know exactly how much I have. All right, so there we go. That anxiety's gone, right? Just like that. It's now I know how much gas I have in the plane, so I know how much time I have up in the air, roughly. And there you go. One anxiety gone. So I filled that gap in knowledge, and by anxiety. So anxiety, I see it as it's a knowledge problem. As soon as you find out what's going on, all right, no problem. Now you know. Now you actually could be fearful. There's a difference between anxiety and fear, and fear is not necessarily bad. Fear keeps you alive. So, anyways, oh, and Wrench is here. Hi, Wrench. So let's get into depression. So, what kind of depression, as they call it, is you're bummed out, man, and there's lots of different reasons for that. And ideally, I was kind of looking at it, the official definition on Wikipedia, anyways, and it's kind of has to do like, I'm all bummed out. I'm lying in bed, Brian Wilson style, and I don't want to get out of bed. Oh, the whole world is out there. Oh, it's all terrible and everything like that. And it's like, well, it wasn't always that way, right? Remember, you were happy like 5 years ago. Just do that, or something like that. Oh, hey, Shecky, hey, Nefarious. Yeah. So if you think about like depression, I'll get into it a little bit more with my whiteboard, and I was going to use blue as a color, but I'm using red because it's a happier color, and and a little bit of green there too, because I always like Christmas. It's pretty good, you know. It's a good holiday. All right. So number one thing about depression, that's a temporary situation. If you didn't know about it, yeah, it's one way or another, it's gonna stop, and hopefully we have it ending in a good way. But yeah, it's temporary. If you're a little bummed out, it's not for long. Something's gonna change. It's just life. Life will change it for you. Yeah, and like I said, hopefully for the best. All right, now I will give you the patented common sense guy eating an apple. Yeah, common sense, kind of. Yeah, yeah. Get rid of your depression. What kind of depression? What are you talking about? Depression. So, recession, common sense. Anyways, something I've been watching on Twitter, X, or whatever it's called. All right, so how are we going to change our temporary situation? We are going to walk around. Okay. Now, if you're walking down the street and it's like a really cold day or really rainy and crappy or really sunny, okay, sunny, that's cool. It's all right. If it's really cold, you're going to be thinking about the cold. You're not going to be thinking about your problems. And if it's really rainy, you're going to be thinking about, am I going to get pneumonia here or something? I better walk faster to get home. In any case, you won't be bummed out about whatever thing is bumming you out. And if you don't do that, a lot of gym rats out there, they really like going to the gym too. So we'll call a walk or some sort of exercise. So what that does, any type of walking exercise, your heart rate's going to go up, your blood pressure will probably increase a little bit. But now you're shaking up your brain. So it's like, okay, that you're changing that. You're making the call to say, okay, I'm changing this temporary situation to finish it. I'm all bummed out. Oh, I'm gonna I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna hit myself in the head with a hammer. That'll do it. I think I saw a movie like that once, but don't hit yourself with a hammer. Go for a walk or hit the gym, exercise, something like that. And most importantly, there, I'm gonna put a star. How do I do a star? Yeah, not bad. A little 5-pointed star. All right, we are gonna say when you are doing this stuff, you have to have no phone with you. Leave that thing at home. Throw that thing in the garbage. Don't have a phone. Get rid of this technology garbage. Turn off the superpilotish channel, whatever. But yeah, because it's like the thing about what really sucks you into whether it's you're checking out the Facebooks or your Twitter X or your TikTok or whatever that is, the way that they suck you into that and wasting your whole day on social media like this is that every little thing you go, oh, you find yourself, you go like, oh, here's like a meme or something like, oh, ha ha ha, oh, ha ha ha, huh, ha ha ha, oh, ha ha ha, and it's just like this little thing, like it's poking your head and like releasing all your happy endorphins or dopamine and all that other stuff that makes you happy. So if you're sitting here and you're going boop 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 boop, you're getting hit the dopamine, and for dopamine especially, that's a little hormone that's produced in your brain to make you feel good. So the dopamine's getting hit, boom, boom, boom. Funny Twitter, funny Facebook, TikTok, ha ha ha. Bicycle fails to doing jumps. So when that's like all that dopamine's coming out, that's what cocaine does. Okay, so cocaine, I've researched this, and it's like the way that you get high off of cocaine is that it's actually releasing your natural dopamine, but it's doing a dopamine dump. So like anyone that you see anyone all freaked out on coke, they're like, hey, they're all happy, tons of energy and stuff like that. Well, that is like basically you're looking at social media and stuff like that. It's kind of like little micro dosing cocaine, believe it or not. That's exactly physiologically that's what happens. So that is the reason why you leave that stupid phone at home, and you're going to rebuild your dopamine by getting things moving in your circulatory system and all that other stuff and get your brain firing differently. Leave that phone. Okay, that is why. Is this medical advice? I don't know. I'm not a doctor or nothing, but makes sense to me, and you can research it. Okay, here we go. So this all has to do with keep your if you don't want to be a depressed pilot flying around thinking unhappy thoughts, as we say, you want to take care of your health, which as a pilot, for the non-pilot people out here, like this is a very, very, very small part of the pilot population that would be depressed to the point where something weird would happen. We have to keep our health at a certain level, just to do our jobs. Truck drivers have to do that but a little bit lower level. But like so for me, next month I have to, at my age and for what category of license I have to go every year to go. They check my eyes and check my blood pressure, check for blood sugar, check. You got a whiz in a cup. Anyways, stuff like they check you all out and they ask you a bunch of questions, and you do have to kind of like self-report. Like I don't know if they actually ask like, do you hear voices or something like that? There's something on there where they check like. I don't know exactly, but they do kind of ask you, like, are you suffering from any mental illness? No. But my imaginary friend Joe, he's a mess. No, actually, I did try doing a couple jokes like that before with not with the doctor, but with like the doctor's assistant, nurse, or whoever was in there. And I was kind of joking about hearing voices, and then I got this look. I'm like, no, no, I'm like joking, man. So it's not good to joke around at these things because I actually know a guy. I'll kind of get into him later, but he was joking around. It was like, how are you feeling? And he was joking about like, let's just say, apparently you're not supposed to say this stuff on YouTube. So we'll say kind of a yeah that people do to themselves that we don't like. He joked around about that and was like, boom, he lost his license for like a few more months. He was off on a little bit of issues, but anyways, yeah, he just kind of joked about it. No, I haven't thought about that at all. Oh, really? You said the word, you're out. So that's something to watch if you're getting your pilot medical. Yeah. So what do we want? Looking for health, all the things that'll uh what do we got there? There's things that you can have good health things that you can ingest like good food or whatever. I'm gonna do a few things here. Gotta write small and then I'll get into them. Okay. So these are things that can make you depressed. So I just off the top of my head, you got your food, you got your booze, smoking, and drugs, and you might be smoking your drugs, which you shouldn't be doing if you're a pilot. Put it that way. So food, what kind of food are you eating? Are you eating junk food? Are you eating McDonald's? Are you eating all that great tasting stuff that's totally horrible for you? And when you get to my age, you can't even eat it at all because you feel wrecked for the rest of the day. But yeah, if you're the better food that you can eat, your car runs better on good gas, your body runs better on healthier food. As far as the booze, ideally, you know, it's a alcohol technically is a poison. You can kill yourself if you drink a whole bunch of straight alcohol. You will die. So, in limited doses, a lot of people like it. So you got to be able to regulate that stuff. If you can't regulate your poison, well, maybe you shouldn't be doing it. Smoking, that's another thing there too, reduces your if you're a pilot and you're smoking right before you go up into an airplane, okay, there's like carbon monoxide in there that you can be a little bit more susceptible to hypoxia with that. It affects your blood pressure and stuff like that. And ideally, you don't want to be doing that too. Drugs, and I kind of mentioned that before about what happens with cocaine, man, and your your phone is a drug too, believe it or not. I can't get off of TikTok. Yeah, it's a drug. So you got to watch out for that, and keep all things in moderation. I say that's kind of my mantra. That's my health plan. Like, so I might have some crappy food every once in a while. I mean, Halloween's coming up. I'm gonna pig out on candy, man. I'm rotting these babies out. Yeah. Sweet. I've actually dipped into the candy. We bought some the other day. I'm like, Twizzlers? Don't mind if I do. Cookies and cream chocolate, you say? Oh, right. Yeah. So, all right. Let's and then I'll give all the kids diabetes instead of me for Halloween. And okay, what do we got here? We're talking about health. Okay, and usually I do five things here. I think I might get into six today. I'm not sure. Okay, so this anything you can do with your health is cool. All right, you're like, yeah, but depression's like a mental thing, right? Okay, eliminate your stress. Now, this is the thing is one of the biggest things that affects pilots is that like when you start off as a pilot, you're broke, man. You are making nothing. Like it's you'd be better off, slinging donuts somewhere, cooking donuts at a donut shop, or you'd be making more money as a bartender for sure. Construction, definitely. But you don't get to fly around a plane if you're doing construction or slinging drinks. So you have to eliminate your stress, which will also help you feel better. Is get your okay. We're gonna keep this North American. Get your money together. So there you go. Get your act together financially. Tough one to do. You get that big new job at Air Canada and you want to, oh yeah, I'm going to be here the rest of my life. And, or, I got hired at the majors. I'm working at Delta. Yeah. Oh, I just got promoted to left seat on this thing. It's like, I got a raise. Okay. But, you still got like that student debt maybe, or, like, ideally don't spend more than you make. Like, okay, if you're going to buy a car, buy a piece of crap car for cash. Save up the money and buy the car, not a new one, because that depreciates like crazy. And you got to make all these little financial choices along the way. uh Steal those cookies out of the galley on the on the jet, man. You can live off of those. Actually, I always liked Porter's cookies. That's an airline here. They had the best cookies a few years ago, and then they kind of went cheap and they didn't have the good cookies anymore. But anyways, you can survive on cookies, but that's bad food. Steal the veggies from the galley, or if they're gonna throw them out, don't get caught stealing. But anyways, yeah. So don't get to the point where you need this job so bad, and I'm getting to it a bit later. If you're going to be depressed for some weird temporary reason, you don't want to be adding, stress onto your life by being like, oh man, I can't leave this job. Like I'm all messed up in the head. But I can't leave my job because I got my mortgage payment to do. I got my maybe two car payments I got to do. I enrolled my kids in this stupid program they don't even like. So like, don't waste your money on that stuff, man. That's like, be cheap, like super pilotish. So, anyways, think cheap. If you can get it for free, get it for free. If you can wait and get it on sale in 6 months, wait for that thing. Delayed gratification will get you away from the consumerism mindset that keeps you a debt slave. Whoa, where'd that come from? Anyways, get your financial act together, and then that just makes everything easier. And besides, if you get a new car, it's really cool, and everyone says, "Oh, nice car," and they say that for like about 2 weeks. Like, I don't know anyone that's like had a new car and then like 2 years later it's got a few dings and scratches in it. They got a warning light on and they're still got to pay the thing off for another 5 years. I don't know any of those guys that are happy with it. So 10-year-old Toyota, 10-year-old Honda, can't go wrong. Okay. Get your financial act together, keep that stress down. And our next one here too. Okay, so now let's just say all of your prevention methods here didn't quite work. Here we are. We wake up one day. I don't want to get out of bed. I'm all Brian Wilson. I'm all bummed out. It's okay. Temporarily, you will be bummed out. So the first thing you want to do there is, I would say, it's a tricky thing. This is where you're kind of walking on eggshells a little bit and can cause a little bit of anxiety. You go right to the doctor and say, "Hey, doc, I'm all messed up in the head. Yank my license." You might not have to do that. You might have to, and you probably won't have to. So I'm going to come up to talk to somebody first. I I don't really know how great like psychiatrists and psychologists and all them are. It's like, eh, or like talk therapy. Tell me about your feelings and stuff. Like you're getting a pilot to talk about his feelings on the couch there. That's like put the nails on the blackboard and go like this. Like pilots don't want to talk about that crap. We'd be better off doing a little bit of exercise and doing some walking and flying planes that make us happy and stuff. So I don't know. Talk therapy. Tell me about your feelings. Oh, I'm gonna live in the past with all my. I'll tell you all about all the bad stuff that happened to me in my life. Like, do you ever have like I don't know? I've never been to like a psychologist or psychiatrist. Do they ever say like, "Tell me about all the great accomplishments you did in your life"? Oh, really? You got a pilot's license? That's a lot of work. You must be smart. Whatever, something like that. No, my cat died when I was 3. Fluffy was my best friend. It's like, yeah, that's life, man. It happens, and that was temporary too. You got another cat. So, yeah. So, in order, I would talk to. I would say talk to your coworkers first, and specifically, the way you do this, if you're feeling a little bummed out and you're thinking you might have to take a little time off of work or something, and you're thinking you might have this kind of depression type stuff, I would say talk to somebody that's maybe been at your company a little bit longer, and then you say, "Hey, did you hear about this in the news? Blah blah blah. Do you know anybody that's ever happened to?" And chances are, if it's a bigger organization like an airline or something like that, oh yeah, Joe over there had to take a year off after his mom died. She had to after she gave birth. She couldn't come back after her maternity leave because she was extra stressed because she had twins. She could have another 3 months off or something. But talk to the coworker first. Just kind of pick the brain. Don't say, I feel all fine. I don't feel fine today, man. Just kind of test the waters out with the coworker. Now, if you're at a bigger place, you could be lucky, and you could, or unlucky, depending on where you work. It could be a unionized place. So the union's there to fight for you to keep your job, whatever's happening like that. And they negotiate into their contracts. Okay, we're going to protect this worker's job temporarily for a year while he gets his stuff together or she figures out her thing. Talk to them first. And the last place you talk to next is the doctor. And this would be your aviation examiner. Okay. Now, that would be the thing there. And if you think that, be a good pilot and say, I am so depressed. I'm all messed up here. This should be, I don't know, maybe about a 6-month problem. Hey, doc, can I have I'm going to take myself out of commission for 6 months. What do you think? Or something like that. And then you start thinking about like, okay, are they going to start giving you happy pills and stuff like that? So this is where you could be experiencing a bit of anxiety in addition to your depression, that like, I'm all bummed out because of this temporary thing. Now I have the anxiety of, oh, what do I tell the doctor? Is he going to yank my license? And now, because I didn't take care of my money, I got all these payments I got to make and stuff. Ooh. So, yeah, if they do allow you to fly with the happy pills, believe it or not, SSRIs and stuff like that, it has to be kind of demonstrated that it won't affect your flying ability or judgment making. So, because I have personally known, 3 people that went on the happy pills temporarily, then they got off them and they're fine. But they were there for that specific little thing that they had to deal with in life. And they got off him. They're fine. Two of those guys are they're working at the airlines now, doing just fine. And I think they're both married now, kids on the way, something like that. But I know they're both working at the airlines. Another guy, he was stressed out at work, got back to it, got his business going again, went off the pills. Everything's cool. So, yeah, so that's not the end of the world to get on the happy pills there. What we're going to talk to, oh, and even if you do, that's okay. We're talking six. Okay. That's actually sign language for I love you. Did you know that? So, okay, we got it doesn't mean Ozzy Osbourne, but Ozzy Osbourne does indeed rock. So, okay, what do we got here? Yeah, the last thing here. Okay, so if you end up in the last case scenario where things just aren't working, you gotta get on the happy pills and stuff like that, or whatever. Um, yeah, okay. So this is where you can check out for in Canada. You can get, like, according to the laws in Canada, it's like no pilot shall fly under the influence of something that may da 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 da. You know, it's like one of those Canadian aviation regulations. In the FAA in the United States, they what do they call it? It's called you can get a special issuance saying that okay, we can override this rule for this reason, and we call that an exemption in Canada. So even though here you go, you're all stressed out and everything, you're going to tell the doctor it might not be a total game changer, like might not be that bad. You know, take a little vacation off of work, something like that, and do whatever medication they need you to have, and you get your exemption. You're back at work, everything's cool. No one has to know anything about, yeah, I pop a pill once a day, I feel great. And then after 4 months, I don't need them. Well, that's cool. But yeah, so that is what I have to say about that. And you know, it's something that pilots just I don't even know if I would even bring this up on a YouTube channel, honestly, if I was actually working in the industry anymore. It's kind of like now that I'm kind of freelancer, hired gun, I don't have a boss kind of pilot. Uh it's like I can say what I want. And if it makes the flying if it makes the flying community a little bit safer, I will say it. So here we go. Here are your depression tips, and we're going to try to not have it, mitigate the effects, and then deal with the effects if you got them. So here we go. Remember, depression is a temporary situation. It will end. Uh, that's that. Like, oh, I'm all bummed out. My dog got hit by a car. Yeah, that sucks, man. That's terrible. But eventually you get over it. Your grandmother died. Yeah, she was a nice old lady, but you get over that too. Takes time. And so all these situations, no matter what, you get older, man. Time keeps going on. Time doesn't care if you're all bummed out, but it's going to keep going. And chances are it'll be like, oh, that wasn't so bad. And you've been through tough times before. This is just another one of those. Okay. And the way that you can kind of avoid that is do some sort of walk, exercise, whatever, some kind of physical activity without your phone. Throw that damn thing in the garbage. So those things are terrible, man. But if you're doing your exercise, don't bring your phone with you or anything like that. And it'll distract you. And check out the birds, man. They're cool, man. They fly like you do. Okay, health. Watch your food, booze, smoking, and drugs. All things in moderation, all things legal. And ideally cut out the really bad stuff. Okay, don't get into too much debt. Watch your money, man. That's a big one. That gets people divorced. That gets people bummed out. You got to watch that stuff. It's yeah. Don't get into too much debt. Way easier said than done. Okay, and then if you are feeling like you got to deal with these things, I would suggest talk to very anonymously. Throw the idea out there with a coworker. Did you see this in the news? What do you think? Anybody around here that ever happened to? And it might be that person. You never know. If you got a union, talk to the union guys. What would happen if I got this friend? All these pilots have friends. Yeah, I'm just asking for a friend. But anything weird happens to be like, I was asking for a friend. There we go. And then last, if you really have to, talk to the doctor there and do what you got to do to keep yourself safe. And, another thing too, and you can get these exemptions or special issuances, as they call in the States. You might be fine. You just go pop a pill and go fly a plane. Big deal if it doesn't affect you. Who cares? Like if you're taking an aspirin, I took 2 aspirin and flew a plane. Or the doctor said, yes, this non-drowsy antihistamine. Yeah, that's fine. Like you can take certain medications and still fly planes. Ideally, you don't take any, but there we go. That's sometimes you gotta. Or a blood pressure medication. Lots of pilots out there on blood pressure medication. And so there you go. There's my helpful hints. There you go. Do a screenshot of that. And then there we go. And we will be happy and healthy and flying our airplanes around with happy passengers and happy landings all around. Yay. So okay, so that is that. Anything else that I missed? I think that was about it. But I figured I'd bring that up. Just it's kind of out there, and it's one of those things that pilots don't really want to talk about. But I will. Okay, we're gonna go back in time and check some questions, comments. What's Wrenchin saying here? Okay, so Ranch heard people on the radio talking about pilot mental health, saying they give pilots mental tests. I just think they ask us, and we know if you answer yes to mental health question, no license. Yeah, it's. Are you feeling? Are you feeling fine? Yeah, I'm fine. Oh, that was another thing there too, Ranch, about the if you are on what is it? You can only get these exemptions or what do you call it in the States? Or special issuances or exemptions from these rules if it's a non-psychotic drug that you're on. So SSRIs are considered non-psychotic drugs, but if you need the pills to keep your schizophrenia under control, it's like, too bad, man. It's like, we're not letting any schizophrenics fly in planes. You are not legal. So like psychotic is like, you can have psychotic breaks and freak out and do all kinds of stuff. Yeah. And usually those drugs are a little bit more harsh and they dope you up and your reaction time can be off and stuff like that. So yeah, those things from what I've seen online on the interwebs is that like for non-psychotic drugs. But if you're psychotic, man, I don't want you flying around me. Just go work on a construction site. You'll probably make more money. Okay, what else we got here? Hey, I'm with Shecky here. Get some sun, get some exercise, stay busy. All right. I will not say this this word over here because apparently we're not supposed to say that word, or they kind of hide your video. But the question on the USA Pilot Medical: have you ever thought about? It makes you think about that. Now I have to say yes. See, Ranch, that's your logical engineer brain talking. So that's the kind of pilot I want flying my plane around. Yeah, all those obvious questions. Just say no. And where are we here? I like this. This is, I think you heard me wrong there, Rich. So I'm suggesting cocaine over phones. They are both bad for you. So I would say, yeah, all things in moderation, except for cocaine, just don't do that stuff. Okay, what else we got here? Uh, uh, Okay, what else we got here? Oh, there we go. They're very good. I like how we're talking about killing septic tank germs. That is suicide. I do approve of that dad joke pun, and I might have to use that. Little clunky coming off the tongue though, like killing septic tank germs, sewer side. But we're not allowed to say sewer side apparently. Uh, but I do appreciate a good dad joke pun. Okay, what else we got here? Da, 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 da. Oh, here we go. Good idea here, Wrench. He buys the car he dreamed about when it's 10 years old. Yeah, it loses all that. Might have a, like 10 years old. That's kind of where the major stuff kind of starts breaking. Although 15, maybe, like air conditioners, heat pumps, stuff like that, master cylinders, transmission leaks, and stuff like that. But yeah, 10-year-old car, you can't go wrong with that. And especially if it's like low mileage, no rust, definitely. I agree, Wrench. Okay, what do we got here? Okay. All right. None of your business is in here. He's still on his PC. Okay, I just thought I'd say hi anyways. Now that you're in here, Nunya. Hello. Okay. Okay, what else we got here? Oh, there's quite a bit of chat going on here today. Oh, Pyramid 7 was in here too. Yo, right back at you, Pyramid 7. But now that Pyramid 7's here, we got to shut her down. I don't want to be hanging out with that guy. No, just joking. But there we go. Oh, here we go. We have an actual question. And sometimes I miss them, so sorry guys if I miss them, but we have an actual one here. With MJ Legal, is it a problem with AME? So by MJ, he means Mary Jane, and that is the what do we say? The more groovy term for cannabis, and it is legal. Okay, that's a weird one. A little bit different between the United States and Canada. That was a big deal when they legalized it in all of Canada a couple of years ago, 2, 3 years ago, something like that, 4 maybe. When they legalized it, like straight out legal, you can grow it in your backyard if you want, depending on the province you're in. They got pot stores all over the place here, 100% legal. And they didn't know what to do with it, like because you can't fly under the influence of anything, but then they don't have any tests to actually test for that in your blood, or like breathalyzers type thing. They can't really figure it out. So what they did at first here, they said that okay, if you ever like, I had a student of mine, he was just about to get his first medical, and they ask you, have you ever what is it? I don't know, smoked weed or something like that. And he was like, yeah, back in high school, but that was like 10 years ago. Boom, no license, no medical, just stopped it right there. And he's like, and they were, because that's the way it used to be, where you're answering yes to this stuff, and it's like, then they're like, have you gone to rehab? Have you done this stuff? You're gonna have drug tests. They were doing that for like all these people, but there's so many people that were getting, yeah, I did it back in high school, it's legal now, who cares? And they're like, no, boom. So all these people lost their licenses and stuff like that. And then the regulators were like, what do we do? What do we do? And then they said, well, what's the military doing? So I knew a guy that was in the the Army reserves here in Canada, and he said, yeah, they just came up the rule 28 days from toke to yoke. So it's so it's like 28 days. You got to wait 28 days after consuming your cannabis, and then you're legal to fly, and that's all just on the honor system kind of thing. But generally that works, and so that's the way that is. Yeah, so they just said, well, okay, we can't just suspend everybody's licenses here, so we'll just do what those military guys are doing. And where did the military get that from? I don't know. They have a bigger budget for that kind of thing than Transport Canada does. And so now in the States, that is the States is weird. It's legal at the state level, but it's still 100% illegal at the federal level. So if you're in the United States and you're in possession of your funny little plant that God gave us, if you're in possession of that, federal agencies can come after you. Like, what would that be? FBI, I guess. You can be arrested for possession of that, selling it. Or even like here at the Windsor-Detroit border, okay, it's legal in Canada 100% all over the place. It's legal in Michigan at the state level, but because the border crossing is regulated at the federal level in the United States, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, I forget the official, they got all these different, there's like immigration, customs, excise. Anyways, they got all these. They have multiple like agencies working across the border there, and yeah. So when the customs guys, they can haul you off for smuggling a little bit of God's plant over that imaginary line in the river. So that can happen. And Safety Doc's here too. Hi, Doc. Thanks for showing up. Yeah. So is it a problem with the medical examiner, aviation medical examiner? It's if you're playing by the rules, no problem. There we go. So that's my answer for that one, Wrench. And here we go. Pilots are positive people. All right. So are school safety experts. Thanks for showing up, Doc. And what else we got here? Okay. Yeah, so here we go. That is about it. What's this? Ranch works in Missouri. People do it at lunch. Yeah, it's one of those things. I've worked with machinists that like they're just always like break, lunch, afternoon break, like in the car on the way home. I've worked with these guys that just hitting the stuff all over the place, and I don't know, man. The bosses just let them do it. Welders, man. Oh, well, you figure it like in the welding bay. Like up here, it's cold in all the welding shops, or like it's cold in the wintertime, but you don't want to go outside to smoke the old Mary Jane. So these welder guys, man, there's so much smoke in the welding bay that they just like, whatever. Who's gonna know, right? And turn on the exhaust fans for all the welding smoke. And yeah, welders, they like to look at that little glow and just, whoa, man, that's so cool. Yeah. And well, that's a little machine shop story. Okay, that is about it for today. We are going to shut her down. What are we going to do here? Oh, today's Monday. Yeah, so we'll do this Wednesday. I'll be back here next because I do this Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern. Get out there, have a walk, do some exercise, be all nice and happy, and we'll just kind of shut this here show down. So thank you for watching, everybody. Bye.